And Wilson, the catch and finish. Beautifully done.
What's she gonna do? She does it for the first time in WNBA history.
Not today. Not today.
We didn't have the best defensive showing, but it did do enough for us to get the win.
What's going on, everybody? This is Heavy on Hoops with the follow-up video on what I'm calling this new series of mine. I'm calling it the GOAT series, where we compare legends from different eras who shaped the WNBA. And I figure what better way than to follow up from my last video with starting with somebody looked at as a current GOAT like A'ja Wilson, the face of today's league, and Lisa Leslie, one of the original gold standards. So what inspired this? Honestly, I looked at Lisa Leslie's peak finals run in that 2001 series, and then I looked at A'ja Wilson's dominance in 2025 and thought to myself, you know what? Before I sit here and crown anybody, let's look at this the right way. Let me be the rational fan. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's look at stats, accolades, and legacy. So round one, we got production and efficiency. We'll start with the legend Lisa Leslie. So she was the prototype for dominant bigs in the early 2000s, a two-way force who controlled the paint on both ends. And across 12 seasons with the Los Angeles Sparks, she averaged 17 points, 9.1 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 2 blocks, and 1.4 steals. A'ja Wilson to date, through 8 seasons, has evolved that blueprint where she's not just the post threat. She can score facing up off the bounce and still bang down low. Her current career averages are 21.4 points per game, 9.3 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 2 blocks, and 1 steal a game. So what noticeably jumps out to me just looking at it, guys, is that 4-point per game gap. And that matters. Those 4 points adds up over time at this level where we're nitpicking, especially in the GOAT discussion. She also tied the WNBA single game scoring record with 53 points. Lisa Leslie's career high was 41, which is still elite, but A'ja definitely has that scoring edge on her when it comes to that. And then efficiency, Lisa Leslie shot 47% from the field, 31 from 3, and 69% for her career from the line. A'ja Wilson is at 49%, 36% from 3, and then 82% from the free throw line. And I think that right there tells a whole tale in itself, where A'ja Wilson's efficiency is just obviously on the different levels than Lisa Leslie. And then two things specifically, their field goal percentages is a couple points off, but when you look at the 3-point field goal percentage, A'ja is somebody who came in the league. She didn't have that 3-point shot, but she worked on it, and 36%, you have to respect it. For a center, that's great. And then 82% from the line, that's somebody that's dependable. Whereas 69% from the line for Lisa Leslie is okay for a big, but you got somebody who at 82%, that's somebody you can depend on, especially in the clutch. And then also, if we just want to nerd out for a second, Lisa Leslie's PER, which is the player efficiency rating, is 24.4 compared to A'ja Wilson's absurd 28.9. So there's that. Round one, where we look at production and efficiency, this round to me, almost no-brainer wise, goes to A'ja Wilson. Now let's look at round two, which is the career accolades. And a lot of people like to put a lot of emphasis on the accolades, and while yes, they do matter, to me it's not the end-all be-all. Certain accolades are worth more than others. Like, to me, the MVP award is worth more than the All-Star Game MVP. A WNBA championship is worth more than maybe the Olympic gold. Some people may disagree, but we have to put everything into context because, you know, especially at that point in time when Lisa Leslie was playing, the rest of the world was so far behind in basketball, they kind of steamrolled through a lot of the competition. Whereas the WNBA, heck, and even the men's, you know, the NBA, it's like they can't just skate through these competitions anymore because the rest of the world is caught up. So anyway, that was just a little bit of context. So when we look at career accolades, Lisa Leslie is a 2-time WNBA champion, while A'ja Wilson now has claimed 3 titles. MVPs, Lisa Leslie has 3. A'ja just became the first 4-time MVP in league history. Finals MVPs, both have 2. Defensive Player of the Year awards, Lisa Leslie has 2, A'ja has 3. Internationally, when we look at the international gold, those are our Olympic gold medals and the FIBA medals. Lisa has 4 Olympic medals and 2 FIBA medals. Asia's at 2 Olympic gold medals and 2 FIBA medals so far in her career. All WNBA selections. Lisa has 12. Asia, still in her prime, currently has 6. Rookie of the Year advantage goes to A'ja Wilson because Lisa Leslie does not have one. So I look at all of those accolades, and the thing that I really want to look at the most is how were you in your most dominant year, and your biggest, your best year, your MVP year. And for Lisa Leslie, that was 2001. And her MVP run was legendary. She led the Sparks to a 28-4 record. She was the MVP of the league, the All-Star Game MVP, and the Finals MVP, helping the Sparks capture a championship. This was also the year that she passed leading scorer Cynthia Cooper to become the all-time leading scorer. So Lisa Leslie's 2001 MVP run was legendary. 28-4 record, MVP of the league, All-Star Game MVP, Finals MVP, leading the Sparks to a championship, and she passed Cynthia Cooper to become the all-time leading scorer in WNBA history at that point. That was the moment she became the face of the league. And then we go over to 2025 and we look at A'ja Wilson, who dragged a team that was struggling at 500 to the number 2 seed by going on a 16-game win streak to end the season, and then swept all the regular season awards to win MVP, Finals MVP, and Defensive Player of the Year, something that no player in WNBA or NBA history has ever done in a single season. And yes, she kind of did that while leading the dynasty, guys. So round 2 winner, I give this to A'ja Wilson, and this one is not super far off because Lisa Leslie is very decorated in this particular department, but Asia's right on her heels in the areas that she's not quite measuring up, which is the Olympic gold and the All-Star games, just simply because she has not played enough years. But as far as the individual awards go, A'ja has her beat. So now again, context matters, and we have to look at the supporting cast for both players. And to be fair, we really do have to look at this because A'ja Wilson has had way more top-end help than Lisa Leslie ever had. And that's not to say anything about who Lisa Leslie played with, but let's be honest, she's played with multiple time All-Stars like Kelsey Plum, who's averaging almost 20 with the Los Angeles Sparks now. And even while she was with the Aces, I personally thought a couple of those seasons she was an MVP caliber player. Then you got Jewel Lloyd, who's already a 2-time champion, multiple time All-Star, coming off the bench. And then Jackie Young, who is pretty much probably the most well-rounded wing player in the WNBA, if I'm being honest with you. And then you got Chelsea Gray, point guard, when it's like, again, she's on her game. I don't know if there's ever been a better floor general in the WNBA. So a lot of these players that A'ja played with could easily be 1 or 2 options on other teams. And again, it's not to say anything about the teammates that Lisa Leslie had, but let's keep it a buck. Delisha Milton-Jones, Mabika, Nikki Teasley, they got a few All-Star games between them, and Nikki Teasley even took a Finals MVP. But none of them were the caliber of A'ja Wilson's supporting cast. None of them averaged over 13 points per game at any point in their career. So Lisa Leslie literally was the focal point of everything offensively and defensively. That's a wrinkle that has to be factored in when judging their impact. And the only reason that I feel like I can even give the edge to A'ja in both of the categories that we had before is that even though she had a lot more help, the level of efficiency that she did it with was insane. So next, we're going to look at round 3, which is the legacy round. And to me, this is the round that really makes the GOAT conversation special because it's not just about numbers, it's about impact. Lisa Leslie was the first big that made teams really consider how to build their rosters. Her dunk was a cultural moment for the league. There's so many montages now where it's like, hey, you see Lisa Leslie dunking the ball. And without people really thinking about it, She proved that women could play above the rim, and she's inspired a generation now of women that are starting to dunk. You go across YouTube, you'll find videos of, you know, a lot of these upcoming players coming to the college game, still in high school, that are dunking the basketball. So we could shut a lot of this talk down about trying to lower the rim for WNBA players, because the game is evolving. Lisa Leslie also stretched the floor with the mid-range game when bigs mostly camped out near the rim. So she ended up becoming the blueprint for the modern center. Off the court, Lisa Leslie is absolutely the gold standard. Modeling in Vogue and Newsweek magazines, acting, writing her book Don't Let the Lipstick Fool You, becoming a top analyst for ESPN, ABC, CBS. She was the Swiss Army knife for pretty much, you know, laying down the foundation of what it means to be the face of the league. She shaped what it meant to be the face of the league, because even though I may have not watched as much WNBA basketball as a millennial when I was younger, one thing that was synonymous with WNBA basketball was Lisa Leslie. We all knew who she was, even if we didn't watch basketball. So in a lot of ways, she transcended the sport. A'ja Wilson represents the evolution of the foundation on the court of what Lisa Leslie did. She's the most skilled big that the league has ever seen, a true unicorn. People toss that term around a lot in other circles, but it applies here because A'ja can play out on the perimeter by putting the ball on the floor. She could dribble, hit the mid-range, pull up. She could go down on the block and dominate. I mean, you double her, she'll pass. Her IQ is just off the charts. She does not have any holes in her game. Guard her one-on-one and you're getting cooked. Especially if you're a big, you're getting cooked. So off the court, she's building her own legacy too as an author. She has a foundation for kids with dyslexia, Nike and Gatorade deals, and one of the loudest voices for equal pay and visibility in women's sports. So when I break this down, I have to break it into two separate parts when looking at legacy: the on-court legacy and the off-court legacy. On court, the advantage goes to A'ja because she's literally revolutionizing everything that Lisa Leslie did and honestly doing it better on the court. And this is not a slight, because the gold standard is still a gold standard. It's just that maybe A'ja is the platinum. Off the court though, the advantage goes to Lisa Leslie because she still to this day is the absolute blueprint of what every sports athlete, not just WNBA player, but sports athlete wants to do after their career or even while they're in their career. And that's essentially being recognizable off the court to the point where your presence as a person transcends that of your job, which was what she did as a basketball player. People knew her from modeling. People knew her from appearing on as an anchor on TV. So she was just kind of like the Swiss Army knife again. So final verdict in this GOAT debate. Let's lock in the scorecards. Round 1, production and efficiency, A'ja Wilson. Round 2, accolades, goes to A'ja Wilson. And round 3, the legacy factor. And this is split. Again, on the court, I got A'ja, but off the court, I got Lisa Leslie. At the end of the day, my GOAT between these two is A'ja Wilson. And that's just because I put a lot of emphasis about what's being done on the court. The awards, so many of these things are dictated by other people, but your on the court play speaks louder than everything else to me. And then after that, to me, the most important thing is the legacy. Is like, what are you leaving for the players that are coming behind you? And Lisa Leslie did that to a T off the court. And even on the court, it's just that A'ja Wilson on the court is just doing it better, which is saying a lot. But she built the standard that A'ja is now pushing past. So tell me, who do you have in this debate? Are you team A'ja or team Lisa? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys in the next GOAT series episode. This is Heavy on Hoops, and we out. Peace.